Hey guys, what is up? It's Haley here. We have some breaking news as Captain BRAYDEN was traded to the New York Islanders. In return, it will be a first, a third, and a prospect return for the captain. Well, the former captain of the St. Louis Blues. I will be with you live up until probably an hour because we're going to go over all that's going to happen. My source actually texted me about 5 minutes before everything went public with BRAYDEN, which is why I made the tweet that I did right away. But that is the latest news when it comes to BRAYDEN. So, yes, my source, and I have a lot of team sources as I do cover another NHL team and I make those connections. So, what I can say is it's going to be a very interesting next 30 minutes or so, which is why I am here live with you all. As soon as I got the text, I decided, you know what? Hey, let's just hop on live and talk about it. I'm going to have my usual episode as always. This is going to be the last episode with Captain BRAYDEN doing the intro. And then we're going to go jump to our Robert Thomas intro. I know there was a lot of talk about RT18. I'm just going to update the banner now. BRAYDEN, and we don't know who the prospect is yet, traded to the New York Islanders. Are you surprised about that? I'm not. BRAYDEN did not want to be a part of this rebuild. That is something that he has stated previously. And I feel like this was the best decision for him. And the Blues, they do get something good in return. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. For first, third, and prospect. And again, we don't know who the prospect is just yet. What we do know right now is that there's 30 minutes until this trade deadline comes to a conclusion, okay? And right now, we have to ask ourselves what is going on with a couple of our other guys? What's happening with Binnington? What's happening with Robert Thomas? I know that the talks about Justin FAULK, for my sources that I did receive this morning, they were off the chart. A lot of teams were interested in Justin. The problem is Doug Armstrong was asking for too much when it came to Justin FAULK. So you have to just wonder, what is that asking price? With everything being leaked about Colton Parayko, I'm not necessarily surprised that teams are kind of pushing back because, again, a lot of these players have those no trade clauses. And right now, from what my sources are telling me, Schenn was inevitable. He did not want to be a part of the rebuild. And this is a good fit for him to go to an Eastern Conference team. That is something that I also stated about a couple weeks back, that if Schenn was going to leave the Blues, he would go to the team in the East. He would not stay in any single way in the Central Division, let alone the West. Again, he did spend a lot of time in Philadelphia, so he's really familiar with this area. Even though the Islanders are in Long Island, he's still very familiar with it. His brother, Luke Schenn, is now a part of the Buffalo Sabres, so they're both on different New York teams. As long as it's not the Rangers, that's fine with me. So that is the latest on the Schenns, but I am not surprised about this. My initial reaction when I heard the news from my source before it was on social media was, this makes sense. For Jordan Kyrou to go to the Islanders, that wouldn't make sense because, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards the Islanders, but they're not a playoff team this season. So I don't see why Jordan Kyrou would waive his no trade clause. That didn't make sense to me. However, time is still on the clock. And Doug Armstrong, yes, the message was sent to me around 11 a.m., 10 a.m. ish, that he would be speaking to us media at 3 o'clock. So again, that's usually not the best sign. That means one of two things. A, nothing's going to be done, or two, he just, for whatever reason, sends it out early and no other GM does that, like, at all. Trust me when I'm saying that to you. Like, no other GM does that. Is trading BRAYDEN enough for you to consider this a successful trade deadline? And for me, I would say to you, no, there's still a lot more that needs to be done. And that a lot more, it goes to other players, such as moving a Justin FAULK. So again, my blue source said, stay close to the phone. things are going to happen. Um, and for me, I am very curious to see what that means. And again, it I and I say this with the most respect possible, right? If you're the St. Louis Blues and you traded away your captain and you're looking at this team right now and you're asking yourself, where is the leadership? Oh, I got a text. Sorry. If I ever get a text, this isn't like one of my normal shows where I'm going to be talking nonstop. This is me communicating with my sources. So let me just check this text message just to make sure that I don't have any breaking news as we are live right now. Interesting. Hmm. Just some more information about the SCHENN. Just that Doug was very persistent about having that first for BRAYDEN. All right, that wasn't that interesting. But hey, listen, it's news that we didn't know before, so it's a good return. Um, the prospect, and it's now a prospect down the line. That's what it is now. That's what was a little bit changed about the initial. How do I edit my banner? I have to edit this down the line. So that is the new set of information that we have here. So, are you surprised about this at all? Let me know your reactions. Again, we're going to be filming a normal episode today, talking to you about the trade deadline. Right now in Eastern Time, it is 2:35, which means 25 minutes until the trade deadline is in effect. However, after that 3 o'clock time, you can still find out information as some deals are literally finalized up until the last second. I have been there when it happens, and it is absolutely insanity. So, again, let me know in the comments. Are you surprised at all about BRAYDEN SCHENN going to the New York Islanders? Or are you surprised about the New York Islanders giving up that first, the third, and a prospect down the line? Let me know. I think the prospect down the line is a little bit interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to make of that. I mean, it's weird, right? Down the line, is this going to be like a 7th round draft pick that you don't want? And you're like, you know what? Hey, we drafted this really bad defenseman. Here you go, St. Louis. Your issue now. I am curious about that. However, for me, I feel like it doesn't necessarily make sense. But hey, it is what it is. And we don't have a captain. We do not have a captain. How insane is that, that we don't have a captain on the St. Louis Blues anymore? And that to me is so crazy. Shenta Islanders, that's so bizarre to me that we don't have a captain. I feel like with our organization as of lately, like we have just been such a mess. I'm thinking about the time that BRAYDEN SCHENN was captain, and like at least went to the playoffs like once. Like I'll give them that. But SCHENN had such a great final game wearing the blue note the other night with those 3 assists. So I give him a lot of credit. He ended on a really good note, no pun intended. So the Islanders are getting a good one. Robert Thomas being the newest captain, I think that's what's going to happen. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't have RT18 as the newest captain. That's what makes sense to me. I feel like that's what makes sense to almost every single person that knows the game of hockey. It wouldn't make any sense to have any other player as the captain. However, when it comes to the St. Louis Blues organization, I hate to say I don't trust it, but I'm not the most confident in all the decision making as of lately. It's so bizarre to me though that and by we I mean Doug Armstrong, waits until the last minute when they should have been selling off the bat. I mean, so many teams like Buffalo were willing to give away Such bad things, and that's why you shouldn't have made the Parayko trade public. It was. You shouldn't have, because then you're putting a lot of pressure on Colton Parayko to say yes to something that, in my opinion, he shouldn't have that pressure on him. But here we are again. Okay, let's go see. We have 20 minutes. 20 minutes, my friends, until the trade deadline is in effect. I have my cat who is screaming at the top of her lungs. Are you upset about Captain Brayden Schenn no longer being Captain Brayden Schenn and just going back to being Brayden Schenn? Because I have mixed feelings about it. I'm just surprised he went to the Islanders out of all teams. I figured a team in the East, but at least a cup contending team. I don't know. I just feel like that's a crazy only move to make. And we have 20 minutes, as I said, up until the trade deadline comes into effect. And I cannot believe that would be the only move. That doesn't make sense to me at all. It's been dead. This trade market has been dead. Nothing's really happening. Why haven't they traded Justin Folk yet? And that's a name, and I'm telling you, I had multiple sources tell me that Justin Folk was a name that a lot of people were talking about. Oh, the Blues, by the way, the next Blues home game is against the Islanders next Tuesday. Man, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Oh, gosh. Don't do that to me. It's too soon. I guess he'll get the video tribute immediately. All right. Let's go see. It's really just Shen. Like, that's all it is. This is such a bad trade deadline. This is honestly one of the most disappointing trade deadlines. Hmm. I don't even know what to make of this. Like, we have 19 minutes, folks. Leave a comment. Do you think anything is going to happen in 19 minutes right now with the St. Louis Blues making a potential trade? To tell you the truth, I'm not really sure. Maybe Justin Folk. I mean, there are so many teams that were interested in him. And after everything concludes, I don't mind sharing who they were, but there were a lot of teams interested in Justin. A lot this morning. I woke up to numerous text messages stating to me that specific teams were expressing interest to Doug Armstrong about Justin Folk. And I think the original plan was to maybe put him in a package with another player. However, again, a lot of these guys have these no trade clauses, so they're not going to waive it, which is why you should just sold him individually. There was no reason for this, but teams are still interested because some of the teams that I'm hearing that were interested haven't picked up anybody. So, in my opinion, this would be a really great time for Doug to pick up the phone, say, hey, what's up? Hello. Let's make a trade. But is he going to do that? That's the issue. It's Doug Armstrong. 18 minutes. 18 minutes until the trade deadline is in effect. You know, it's funny. I saw one of the comments saying Binnington to Vegas, and I said that him going to Vegas or Carolina would make sense. Carolina, though, did come out saying to some sources that they weren't necessarily looking to pick up a goalie. So for me, I would take Carolina being out. But Vegas would make sense, but we'll see. Again, I'm not being rude. I am on my phone. I'm on my phone right now. I One last thing. Robert Thomas, and this was something that I knew a little while ago, which is why I'm in the works of getting my new intro made for the show. Because again, Brayden Shen did my intro. Robert Thomas recorded an intro for my show back in November, and as I stated, I had a backup plan, right? I knew about an hour ago that Robert Thomas was not going to be traded at all. And now a lot of the NHL reporters, the insiders too, they're putting that out publicly, but I knew that about an hour ago. So I still think that Robert Thomas should be the newest captain of the St. Louis Blues. Um, I'm very surprised about Justin Falk. I'm assuming that right now that's what the talks are about him, negotiations. I would be very surprised if Justin was still on the St. Louis Blues after 3 o'clock. So, right now, that is the latest information that we have. Again, I am bringing you the most up to date information regarding the St. Louis Blues' trade deadline. The only thing that has happened from the Blues end is Brayden Shen to the New York Islanders for a first, a third, and a prospect down the line. You might be wondering, Haley, is anything else happening? No, like literally there's nothing else happening with any other team in the NHL. This is by far one of the strangest trade deadlines I have covered. Um, there's no blockbuster type of trade. I guess you could say Carlson, but still, like, to me, that isn't blockbuster, right? I always like some drama, and there's none of that. But for the Blues' sake, I mean, there's absolutely nothing. I don't know. This is a very boring trade deadline. I'll be the first to say it. It's boring. Nothing's happening. And we have 14 minutes. The next captain, by the way, should be Robert Thomas. But that can be something that we talk about down the line. All right, we have 14 minutes. Okay? 14 minutes until the trade deadline. There's literally nothing. I do suspect, though, within the next 5 minutes, it's 2:47 right now. Within the next 5 minutes, another trade is going to come out. I do believe that. I don't think Justin Falk, as I said to you about 5 minutes ago, I don't believe that he's going to be wearing the blue note come in the next hour. He's going to be gone. I have said this since early this morning that I've been hearing a lot of buzz from my sources about teams being interested in Justin Falk. So there's a Falk to Detroit trade right now in the queue. My source just texted me. So we have breaking news: Justin Falk, Detroit. Hearing Justin Falk to Detroit. Will confirm soon. My source just texted me. My source just texted me. You saw that. You saw that. This is what I like to call boots on the ground journalism, baby, where I just sit on my phone all day and I wait to hear things. Uh, sorry if I am on my phone. As I said, my source just texted me, one of my sources, and said Justin Folk, Detroit. Um, so again, please just keep in mind that I'm working, even though it seems like I'm not. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting the most that I can out of everything. So this is what journalism is. Make sure to hit that like button, by the way, as I'm like multitasking. I'm very stressed out right now. This trade deadline always stresses me out. I said in the next 5 minutes. Was I not right about that? Okay. Okay. Pending. Pending. So it's pending. It's pending. So we'll wait. I don't know what the return would be, but pending. Pending, pending. I okay, pending. So we just have to wait to confirm. I just don't want Justin on this team, to be honest. I really don't. Like, he's been having a better season. I need it to be over. I need it to be done. By the way, 10 minutes until the trade deadline comes into effect. As I told you, waiting, pending. We'll see what happens. Okay. This is what it's like having a bunch of sources. You just get a bunch of people messaging you. I'm not going to show you the text, so that's why I hit it. But you have a bunch of people texting and sending messages. I have another source that just texted me confirming that the Red Wings put out a hefty offer for Justin Folk. So we'll see. So we'll see. A lot of the trade deadline is just waiting. And I know that's not. Matthew Joseph signs with the LA Kings for a 1 year at a prorated 900K. So Mojo is now with the LA Kings. Contract was terminated yesterday. It's likely going to happen with Justin Folk. Source just texted me. Pending, pending. So now we're waiting. What I can confirm is that my one source has been messaging with GMs all throughout the day. So this is a very reliable source. I would not come on this podcast and give you false information. A lot of my stuff when it comes to the trades have been right. So it seems like a very good offer from what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing is the text messages. And it seems like it's going to happen with Justin Folk going to Detroit. Again, I will confirm as soon as I get that message and it's finalized. Um, but that is what's happening right now. That's the conversation. And they've been interested in him for a little while now. What I can say is they were one of the teams that was more aggressive about potentially getting him for the past couple of days. So I'm going to update the banner. That way we can update it. Waiting to confirm. Okay. Save. Once I get that confirmation, my friends, I will tell you. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, my source just texted me. It may not be good news. So let me just deal with this for a second. Justin does have that 15-team no trade clause. So please keep that in mind. He does have that no trade clause. I'm curious as to if Detroit was one of those teams he would be willing to go to. And if he would be willing to now waive it. Okay. Okay. Still waiting. Again, you have to keep in mind the reason why we're pending. He definitely should want to be on a team that's going to go to the playoffs. He should waive it in theory. I don't see why he wouldn't. It's kind of like Pareko. I know that he wanted to stay wearing the blue note, and I respect that. But the Sabres are a playoff team, so Justin should go to a team that's going to be a playoff team. Okay. Right now, it's just seeing if he's going to be willing to waive his no trade clause. That's what I'm talking to my source about. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, my name is Haley Taylor Simon. I do the daily show called Locked On Blues, which you're seeing. I'm going to give myself a little promo as I'm waiting for things to be confirmed. I do cover the St. Louis Blues, and I also am an in-person reporter covering the Philadelphia Flyers. And being there, I know a lot of scouts for a lot of different teams. I'm in the opposing team's dressing room. I'm very, let's go say this. I'm very well connected. So while I sit here in my knockoff custom blues sweater with my name on it, that's the Robert Thomas one, I do have a lot of connections, and I'm looking at my phone talking to sources. This is not how my usual episodes are. We are live right now as I just needed to have some, reaction. Who did it there first? Okay, 2 minutes. Again, things will trickle out after that 3 o'clock timeline. So please do not be surprised if something happens in terms of potentially Justin's being confirmed after 3 o'clock. I mean, it took Shen a little bit of time to approve of the trade to the Islanders. So maybe it's just getting a hold of Justin saying, hey, this is what's going on, and getting him to approve it. I don't see why he wouldn't, selfishly. Again, that's his decision. Why would you want to be a part of the rebuild if you're Justin Folk? I wouldn't want to be, but waiting. 1 minute. 1 minute. Waiting to confirm about Justin. I can't always confirm things immediately. This is up to him now. This is the decision that he has to make. The Detroit Red Wings to put in an offer. What I am being told, it is a good one that would benefit the Blues. However, it's going to be up to Justin, and that's what we're waiting on. So it's 3 o'clock right now. The trade deadline is in effect. News will come out within the next couple minutes, and we will have our answer. I said about 30 minutes ago, 1 hour from now, I do not see Justin Folk still wearing the blue note, and I still stand by that. Watch it be like a Binnington thing. I haven't heard anything about Binnington today, by the way. After Carolina kind of pulled out about wanting to potentially get a goalie, I haven't heard a single thing about Jordan Binnington, so we will wait and we will see. So let's go see. I had to plug in my phone. It's getting a little bit low. My source said still pending. So if you're joining us now here live on Locked On Blues, we are now waiting for the confirmation about Justin Folk potentially being traded to Detroit. I was one of the first people to report on this. My source texted me, put it out there. We're here live. You could see it on video unfold. And now we're just waiting. Again, he does have that no trade clause. It's so stupid. These contracts are so stupid. And we're just waiting to see. Brayden Schenn, now a New York Islander. That's gonna take some time for me to kind of sit in. It's weird. I'm getting a new show intro. It's been the same intro for like 3 seasons now. Hey, this is Brayden Schenn. You're listening to Locked On Blues. That's selfish of me. But I have a really good one-on-one with him that I did in November, and I'm sure that will be something that I'll do either next week or over the weekend, so we'll see. But we're just waiting to confirm. The captain, I would assume it's going to be Robert Thomas. However, I would not be surprised if they don't go with the captain for a little bit. This is such a bad trade deadline. I would have said potential Binnington trade. The teams that I would see Binnington going to would have been the Vegas Golden Knights, Montreal Canadiens, or the Carolina Hurricanes. However, the Carolina Hurricanes stated that they are not going to really be looking for a goalie anymore. So we'll see, but I'm not hearing anything. I heard a lot of things about Justin Folk earlier today and Brayden Schenn. Schenn was somebody that was going to be traded. The asking price that Doug Armstrong had initially was way too high. So no team was going to appease him, so to say. But the Islanders ended up putting in an offer that he was willing to take. So Yes, I did report the presser with Army will be in 1 hour from now. 1 hour from now will be the presser. I'm waiting for my source to text me. Everybody has different sources. All right, it's official. I just got a text message from my source. My source texted me breaking news. They said, Haley confirmed. Justin FAULK is going to Detroit. Justin is no longer a St. Louis Blue. It is official. Breaking news. Justin is no longer a St. Louis Blue. I'm going to update the banner. How do I update it? Confirmed. I had to wait for my source to text me that way. We all have different sources. We all have different sources. Justin FAULK is no longer here in St. Louis. He will be going off to Detroit. Waiting for what the return is. Waiting for the return. Guys, we're free. Woo. Okay. People were asking me about Robert Thomas. I am live on this right now. My phone is blowing up. Sorry, sources are texting me about what this is for Justin. I told you he wouldn't be wearing the blue note. All right. It will be a first and a third from Detroit for Justin. First and a third. Okay, I had to put the tweet out. All right, so it's official. We have made 2 trades. BRAYDEN SCHENN and Justin FAULK. Makes me sick to my stomach. Well, folks, that's the trade deadline. I'm just texting my sources to just make sure there's nothing else happening, so please just bear with me. I'm glad he waived it. Okay. So, what I'm hearing, my one source is messaging me back right now, so to give me a second. Just waiting for the text. And I will be having a full episode later. They're still texting. They said. Oh, wow. That's some really interesting news, guys. Hmm. Wow, I cannot believe they threw him in too. They really wanted him. Well, wow. Yeah, Detroit was very aggressive with getting him. They were very aggressive. Leave a comment in the chat, by the way, if you have any questions about anything. I would also like to say, selfishly, I really think I was one of the first people to report about Justin Folk, and like that was kind of cool. Okay, um, just we have to wait a couple minutes just to be sure. I don't think anything else is happening though. Doug is speaking in like 50 minutes. Do we know the prospect from the New York Islanders? I just spoke to my Islanders connection. We do not know who the prospect is going to be yet. It might be somebody down the line, unsure of that. But when we do know, I will confirm. But they don't even know. I was so right about Justin, and I was right. I was right. Um, okay. So these were my final predictions of the day that I made this morning. And I said Folk traded, a lot of teams were interested in him, and that is true. I can confirm now. Ottawa was interested in him. The Boston Bruins were interested in him. Obviously Detroit was interested in him. Buffalo expressed some interest in him. So there was a lot of teams that were interested in him. I had then Binnington to either Carolina or Vegas, but Carolina ended up backing out of wanting a goalie. Schenn, I said traded if Doug lowers the price, and that he did, and he was traded. I said Thomas and Kyrou stay, and I said Suter would be in a trade if it was with a package. Um, so I was kind of like on the ball with most of these things. I will say that. I knew. I knew. And it's just like people texting me being like, "Hey, this is going to happen." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll talk about it." Only 4 players, by the way, that won the cup with us are still on the team. Just keep that in mind. That's kind of crazy. All right, my friends. Unfortunately, oh, there's more. There's more. Justin Hall in the folk trade. Let's go see how Justin Hall. He's 34 years old. Okay. So that I can confirm that Justin too. Yeah. I didn't say it was a good I didn't say it was a good at all. At all. That's not what I am saying. There was the Islanders needed a free, not the Islanders, Detroit. Oh my god, too many people are texting me. Hi, I'm Haley. It is a cap dump. I said Islanders. See, it's Detroit Islanders. There's you know who I wouldn't mind? No, I'm not gonna say it. That's mean. I'm looking. My phone is like blowing up right now. If I don't reply to some of your comments, it's because sources are texting me, and I'm going to prioritize only for the sake of trade deadline. I'm just prioritizing the sources at the moment. Okay, we do now have our prospect. For Captain Braden Shens. I'm tweeting. I'm kind of crashing out too because my phone is so slow. um, this doesn't make sense. Okay. I'm just out here tweeting. I'm just out here tweeting. I am putting all this out here. Um Oh, Scott Lauden's with the LA Kings now. He really wanted to stay in Toronto. A lot of salary dumping. That's why I'm taking a little bit longer. Um, I have to edit this tweet. The return for BRAYDEN SCHENN. I'm just editing some tweets because there is people salary dump all the time. Um, being said, that's what's happening. So they're just dumping guys that they don't want necessarily. So Jonathan Duran, a 2026 first rounder, and then a third round pick, and then Marcus Gildoff. What's with all these horns outside my place? Yeah, and Gildoff is a 6'7" goalie. 6'7". Am I like one of the kids now? No, okay. The Devils didn't make any moves today. The Rangers didn't trade Vincent Trocheck. Oilers are done. And Gildoff, by the way, is a goalie prospect. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I can see some of your comments. Doug is speaking in about 40 minutes. A lot of people are following me from St. Louis on my Twitter, so thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Things are coming. Like, I'm getting a lot of text messages. I can't confirm if the Blues are done or not yet. There might be a couple other things that are pending, so I'm just waiting for that. I'm gonna plug my computer in. Where is my charger? All right. Yeah, but him and I have different sources. So I just like to go by my sources because everything that my sources have been telling me are correct. Um, so it's just a respect thing for my own sources, you know what I mean? But he's a very good reporter and I trust him obviously. I just, it's a respect thing from me to my sources. Okay. All right. Guys, my source just texted me. The St. Louis Blues are officially done for the day. It's done. They have traded Captain BRAYDEN SCHENN. And just so you guys know, I'm going to play this for you right now. So you all know what I'm talking about. This is when I say that he does the intro for my show every single day. I'm going to be changing it to Robert Thomas, but this is what Brayden did for me, so just please take a listen.
Hey, this is Braden Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues.
So that's what Brayden did for me. We had a very good relationship. We had a one-on-one in November for this off season, and I will definitely be, editing up some clips of that. He is somebody that I have a lot of respect for, and it sucks. On a personal level, it sucks. But for him, this is the best case scenario. And for the Blues, this is the best case scenario. So, being said, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I will have my normal episode for you later today. Thank you all so much for being involved in this live. Thank you for following me on Twitter at Haley T. Simon and at Locked On Blues. I'll leave the chat up for a couple more minutes so you all can discuss. And I will be having an episode that I will be doing later today. So, again, make sure to check out the channel and to just kind of hang around and, you guys robbed us. Who did we? I don't know what team you are. Yeah, and I'll be joining that press conference with them in about 30 minutes. So, trading the captain, it's a good move in a sense because why would Brayden Schenn want to be a part of this rebuild? They got a lot back for him. That's just, it's a lot, man. No, but Pareka was on a different level than Brayden Schenn and Justin Faulk, if we're being honest. So it's not a big letdown. I might try to speak to Justin in early April. When I see him here just to catch up and see, but we'll see. I don't care, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Getting a first rounder for both of those players is really good. And I know what you're thinking about the third rounders, but again, you can always, make those trades and you get close to the draft to potentially get like a second rounder, if you put it in a package. So it makes sense. I think that's actually very good returns for both of them. So I'm going to need a minute to just like relax and prospect. Not prospect, to process. Brayden Schenn, as I said, personally, that man meant a lot to me. He did a lot for the show. So it's a tough one, but we still have Robert Thomas. So thank God, literally. And now we have our newest captain. Well, no, nothing was announced yet. I'm predicting it's going to be Robert Thomas. But yeah, no more Captain Brayden Schenn. Odd, right? Very odd. All right. I will talk to you all later. Again, make sure to check out the channel. I appreciate all of you. For those that don't know me, again, I've been covering this team now for a couple years, and A lot of what I do is remote. However, I'm very well connected as I have been heavily involved in the NHL for about 5 seasons now. I have a lot of sources, connections, which is why I was able to break the Justin Folk information to you all before anybody else did. My Twitter is Haley T. Simon. I'm a Blues fan first and foremost, besides being a reporter. So make sure to hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to log out of this live and I'm going to get back to just decompressing because that was a lot. All right. Bye, friends.